Can you do anything? I don't know what to do.
Here.
What's this? Where are you going?
Open the door! Go! Put the fucking gun down! The fuck are you doing here? What's it for? Don't know. What is that?
Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. To continue in English, press. To hear hear the latest information about your case, press 2. To speak with a representative, press 9.
Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. Can I get your receipt number?
MSC 1349 80 90 9199.
Was that a 9090199 or a 9090999?
909199.
Carmen Garcia, date of birth November 16, 1986. Country of origin El Salvador. Port of entry Houston, Texas. Science teacher, married to a U.S. citizen. Classical music fan, but secretly you enjoy nasty reggaeton. Currently wearing pink underwear. I see that your work permit has been pending for 3 months. Please hold. I generated a service request for you. Immigration has 30 days to give you a response.
30? As in 30?
Correct. Trace Zero. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, thank you.
Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. How can I help you today?
Hi. Yes, I put in a service request regarding my work permit 30 days ago, and I received a response, but I'm a little confused.
What does it say?
It says, we are currently working on your case. You should receive a response soon.
So
I know that. I need to know how soon.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't give you an estimate. It could be a day, it could be 6 months, who knows? But I can transfer your call to a Tier 2 officer. He might be able to give you more detailed information. Would you like me to do that?
Sure.
All right, ma'am. Let me transfer your call. Please stay on the line.
Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. Your estimated waiting time is 102 minutes. Please stay on the line.
Post reports that according to people briefed in the meeting, the president asked, quote, "Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?" referring to El Salvador and Haiti. Joining us now is political commentator John Davidson and Jeffrey Moore. John, first to you. Your reaction of what we heard today.
These people sneak into our country illegally. They take our jobs by working lower wages. That doesn't make any sense to our economy. Listen, Kip, I'm all about immigration, but we have to do it better. And until we can fix our broken system, we need to close our borders.
John,
our president,
with all due respect, you haven't addressed the real issue here.
Our president stands for the rule of law, and he respects immigrants who come here legally.
Our president said
who play by
something that a lot of
who
people
waited
reacted
their
to.
turn.
Shithole countries, John, and he's referring to El Salvador and Haiti.
Thank you for...
I sent everything you requested. The money, the forms, the copies. What more do you need? You already know about my underwear and you already know about the... You already know about the reggaeton. What more do you people want? And what is the point of calling this number anyway? All you do is give me useless information. Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. How can we help you today? Well, how about you send me my work permit so that I can get a job and stop being a housewife?
Unfortunately, a request for initial evidence stops the processing of your case. Please take a moment to send the requested documents. They should be in the second drawer of your nightstand. Behind your vibrator. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No!
Well, in that case, thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Do you pay per hour?
Give you 7.
7.
That's it.
Okay. Do you need any help today?
Yeah, I got something. Just hop in the back there. We'll get you going.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
Charlie?
Yeah, I'm here a little bit early. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but it's okay.
You must be Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. Come in.
Thank you. So,
I don't know what to do next.
well, typically I ask for you to pay up front before we go any further. I know it might seem crude, but it's just policy, so please don't be offended.
It's okay. We said 200, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, you can go ahead and make yourself comfortable, and lie down, and just remember to breathe and relax. There's nothing to be nervous about. After you. Rachel,
Yeah.
there's really no need to be nervous. You can just relax. Go ahead and lay down. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Why don't we try something?
Okay.
Can you lay on your side? Can I ask you a question, Rachel?
Yeah.
What would he do?
He would play with my hair. Not like that. Like from the temples. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you okay? Rachel,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Thank you.
The first time I saw Donnie Ray Fletcher was at a Butler County homecoming game. He had the most beautiful hands I'd ever seen. Those long, pretty fingers. Later, I'd learned the hard feel of those hands balled up in a fist. Knuckles seeking out soft curves, cutting, bruising, heartbreaking hands. Sometimes all I can see is the colors of things. It's like the whole world goes all fuzzy and then gets real bright. Beautiful. Today is not my birthday, and this is not a celebration. It's a ritual. You get a candle for every year. One candle for every year since you left your man.
A year is a lot to be proud of, sweetheart. I was a mess at a year. Always looking over my shoulder, jumping at every damn sound. I got my shift in a couple of hours. Has he been watching this whole time? What's he doing over there, jerking off? Your landlord is so fucking creepy, Birdie.
Haggard's harmless, Tiff. He's just a little curious is all.
You, August. 6 candles, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cake you want?
Carrot, cream cheese frosting. No nuts this time.
You got it, darling. Predictable and boring as usual.
I heard you.
Y'all can thank me for that later. I love you. Today was a big day.
You want me to help clean up?
That'd be nice, too. Thanks.
Hey. You okay?
You know, I've always been a strange little thing. Daydreaming all the time. You know, I was a waitress for a while. But, I got let go because I made folks nervous. I'd spill something and just stare at a color bleeding into a blouse. Or the way a grease stain would catch the light. My boss said I have no sense of urgency. Donnie loved that about me. Didn't think I was strange. Thought I was beautiful. Did I ever tell you about them nightmares I started getting after my mama ran off? Awful things. Used to wake me in the middle of the night. I wouldn't be able to breathe. When I met Donnie, dreams were at their worst. I'd wake in the night and stare at his chest, watching it move in and out, steady. I matched the rhythm of my breathing to his. Suddenly that nightmare would fade. can't catch my breath again. I keep thinking about my suitcase under the bed and just dreaming about packing it up and waking in the middle of the night to see Donnie's pretty chest moving in and out and just matching that rhythm. Jim, does it get better?
For me? Yeah. It got better. But I ain't had love for Randall for a long time. What you dealing with is a whole nother beast. Look at me, Birdie. You can't go back. You gotta remember what Donnie done. Why you left.
He used to crack his knuckles when he got real mad. That's when I knew it was coming. That sound.
You want me to wrap the rest of the cake?
Don't worry about it, June. I'll get it later.
Hey, Birdie. You did the right thing. He would have killed you.
I know. Evening. Nice night. I brought you a piece of Tiffany's cake. Oh, I forgot a fork. Well, good night then.
Wake up! Bernie! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, Bernie! Bernie, wake up! Wake up, Bernie! Bernie, wake up!
Hey, Pigeon. Been a long time. Change your hair. I like it short like that.
How'd you find me, Donnie?
Greg Hughes got a cousin who finds people. I knew I'd find you eventually. You always had a real tender heart. Looking after that old man next door. I didn't mean to hurt him none. I have some things to get off my chest, you know. Remember what I said to you on our first date? Told you felt like home. Remember?
Yes.
I didn't know what home felt like until I met you. You was my girl. From the very beginning, you was my girl. And now it's like I got this fucking hole inside me. Like I'm hollow. Like somebody come in and scoop every bit of what's good inside me. I'm a fucking husk. I missed you, Pigeon. Missed you a lot.
I missed you too.
Don't fuck with me. How'd you do it? Leave without saying a fucking word? Answer me.
I love you. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. But that last time, you knew what it was coming to. I had to get away from you, baby. It's over. It has to be over.
I don't give a fuck why you done what you did. Your move, Pigeon.
The first time I saw Donnie Ray Fletcher was at a Butler County homecoming game. He had the most beautiful hands I'd ever seen. Delicate, like ladies' hands. Sometimes all I can see is the colors of things. And in that moment, the whole world lights up like a 100-watt bulb. All those colors calling my name, begging me to remember. And all I want to do is catch them so I don't forget. All those pretty damn colors.
Hey, thank you guys for screening your works with Serendipity. I really appreciate that you shared your project and are here to talk a little bit about yourselves and about your work. So just to start, could I have you introduce yourselves and what projects you're here with? We can start with Brantley.
Hi, I'm Brantly Watts. I am primarily a writer and director, and I focus on mostly Southern narrative work, although I do some doc work. And I have two projects that are included in Serendipity. One is a Southern Gothic thriller called Birthday Cake, and the other is a Southern drama called Spoon.
Thank you. Priscila?
And I'm Priscila Torres. I'm a filmmaker from El Salvador, and my short film is called Thank You for Calling. And yeah, it talks a little bit about my immigration process coming to the U.S.
Thank you. Kind of going off of Priscila, what you said, could you guys talk a little bit more about, maybe some of the inspirations you had going into the projects that are included?
I can say that typically I really like character-driven films. I'm more of a character-driven writer and filmmaker versus plot-driven. And I just really love stories about the South because it's where I'm from. For Birthday Cake, I had often seen depictions of domestic violence either kind of in an sensationalized way. And then also, I think a lot of times when we look at domestic violence in film or media in general, I'd say, in terms of literature as well, there's a lot of victim blaming. And we don't really get to see that full picture. One of the things that I really like to do in all of my work is to kind of examine those gray spaces instead of looking at just black and white, to kind of look at the characters and what their motivations are for living in these worlds that they do and making the choices that they do. So Birthday Cake is a film about a woman who has left her abusive partner, and she has collected a group of women, and they celebrate the anniversaries that they've left their abusers with a cake. So you get a candle for every year. And the lead character, Birdie, is getting her very first candle, but she's also yearning for her partner, just because there was toxicity in that relationship, and abuse doesn't mean necessarily that cuts off any feeling. And I wanted to examine that. With Spoon, the other film that's included, I really wanted to examine loneliness, and I wanted to examine vulnerability. And I think that that's something that as humans, we can struggle with at times, with being vulnerable. And in Spoon, you have a lead character who has hired someone to help her alleviate that sense of loneliness, a stranger. And it's really about being able to connect with another human without any judgment. Sometimes I think that it's almost easier to be completely vulnerable with a stranger that you can then walk away from, because you don't have to worry about that sense of judgment. And that's what that story is really about and what I was inspired by. It's also shot on film, Spoon is. I wanted to work with 16 millimeter, and we also shot that film all in one take. So that was really an inspiration for me. Is I knew that I had some film stock and I wanted to shoot a film on film, and trying to come up with the most creative way to do that and make use of that film stock without having to use a ton of it, because processing is expensive.
So my short film is about this immigrant, Salvadoran immigrant, who is waiting on her work permit. And it's actually based on my own experience while I was waiting for my work permit. And it used to be a process that normally take between 2 to 3 months to get your papers. But during this administration and everything that's been going on with immigration, work permits have been delayed for a lot of people. And in my case, my work permit ended up taking 9 months to arrive. And during that time, I felt like I was, kind of lost, because I didn't really know when my work permit was going to arrive. That was another thing that it was kind of annoying, because it's one thing to know, oh, you have to wait X amount of months for this, but it's another thing to not know when that's going to arrive. So while I was going through my process, I lost so many job opportunities, and I really began to struggle with my sense of self. And the only way that I could deal with these emotions was to put it on a paper and start writing about it. And so I wrote this short film, and it's basically my experience with immigration services and how little information people get when they're, trying to find out more about their status, the status of their papers. And yeah, that's kind of like what the story is about. And I really wanted to do something that would put people that don't know anything about immigration, they would probably understand a little bit better what people have to go through. And I just wanted people to question, what would you do in this situation? If you couldn't work because of a document, like I wanted to ask people that question, and that's what the ending of the short tries to do.
Thank you. A question I have to follow up on that for both of you is, you've made these films not this year, right? So you've had a little bit of time away from them. What is something that you feel you really accomplished or really proud of, just looking back on them, with a couple of time away from it? Like, what do you feel you are really happy about, as far as how the film ended up coming together?
I can say that Birthday Cake was my first narrative film. I'd only done doc work before that. And so it was my first time working with actors. And I had an idea of some of the actors that I wanted to work with on that film. And these are skilled actors, really skilled actors. And it was an incredible experience to work with them my first time. And I'm honestly really proud of the collaborative process. I do have to thank Christina Adler for that. She was the lead actress. And then also she helped me produce the film. So Christina was very giving, very patient with me. But I learned a lot from working with her and also Justice, who played the male lead. And I think that it's made my following work much stronger. Being open to that process and also understanding that I didn't know everything. So I was really proud of how I handled just the performance in general. And then I would say with Spoon, a 10-minute one take on 16 millimeter with the elaborate setup that we had was a real challenge. I also had a non-actor that I cast in the role of the male lead. And I remember the night before we shot, there was I think it was a Georgia Production Partnership meeting or something that I went to. It was like a happy hour. And there were a couple filmmakers who were there and they were like, what are you working on? And I told them tomorrow, literally, I'm going to shoot this one take on film. My first time working with film, first time doing a one take. And also I cast a non-actor and they were like, you are crazy. You're a crazy person. But we put in so much prep and pre-pro that it kind of went off without a hitch. And I was really proud of just being able to say that we accomplished it, that we got it, because it was very challenging. And had we not put in so much work and pre-production, there's no way we could have done it. So I was really proud of that.
I think for me was the fact that this was my first short in Atlanta. And I didn't really know anybody when I moved. And while I was going through my process, I was meeting like actors here and there, but just finding the whole crew was a challenge. And from that point on, I feel like I got a good network, after shooting the short film. But I think that what I'm really proud of is how the short has been accepted, because I feel like when you put yourself out there, it's like, this is a very personal story. Like, this is something that I went through. I feel like that has a bigger connection with people, even though it's kind of weird because as an individual, you don't think that you can't reach that many people through your own experience, but because it felt so personal, I think that it has been received in a good way. And also it pushed me to write a feature. So every time I show the short, people were asking me, I want to know what happens to the character, at the end of the story. And I never really meant to turn the short into a feature, but after showing it, I decided that I wanted to continue with the story, and that kind of pushed me to, put myself in a situation where you have to explore other worlds that you weren't even like thinking of, and that has led to a lot of opportunities for me, which is something that I'm very grateful to have done this short film. Because if I didn't write the short, I would have never written something else about that. And yeah, that's what I'm really proud of.
Thank you. So you said you were new in Atlanta when you shot that film. I'm curious for both of you, what role does Atlanta, the film scene in Atlanta as a city, what role does Atlanta play for you, and how do you feel about living in Atlanta as a filmmaker right now?
I'll go first. I think that we have some real talent here. I have an incredible, crew as far as my, the DP that I typically work with, the editor I typically work with, the sound designer I typically work with, have pretty much been with me on most of my projects. And, these are people who are working maybe on union projects, but I think that there's a real there's something about Atlanta. It's got this gritty underbelly that I think draws out a lot of creatives. I think that because Atlanta is small, people have a little bit more time and energy to contribute to indie projects. So again, like while you may be working on a union film, you might also have time to work on some indie projects. And so I think that's really important. I think that we do have a solid creative base here that are working on these indie projects. I would like to see more development here. I'd like to see more opportunities to get funding in Atlanta. And I think that's somewhere that we're lacking right now. Sorry about my dog. I'm going to say that again. But I do feel that the potential is here. The potential's here. We just need more development. And I think that we need more opportunities for above the line talent. And that's where we struggle a little bit. We'll see what happens because the film industry is continuing to grow here in Atlanta. But I'd also like to say that just the South in general, like because I'm from the South, I think that there are some really incredible stories here. And being in the South allows me to explore that. I think that there's something, that tension that you find in a place like the South is right there bubbling under the surface. And I think that makes for really great art.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is a lot of talent in Atlanta, in the indie side of Atlanta, because there's a lot of productions coming and, Marvel and all this stuff. But I think that there is people that want to tell different stories, and there is talent there. I would like, like you said, I think that we should have more development here in Atlanta, because it's cool to be able to work in big films, and it's cool to be able to work in a Disney or Marvel experience, but you still want to tell your own stories, and sometimes it's hard for artists to find that support, and so you have to rely a lot on your own savings and just working hard to be able to fund your projects. So I think it'd be awesome if one day we could have a development side happening here in Atlanta. I think that as a minority, I feel like sometimes it can be hard to break in. And that would be another thing that I would like to see in Atlanta, more opportunities for people of color trying to tell stories. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we can do that.
I'll say after that is, this opportunity in particular with the Serendipity screening is huge for us. The fact that we're able to receive money for our work is not something, and I don't know about you, Priscilla, but I would imagine it's not something that you often see. You don't get money, when you have a film on the festival circuit, unless you win an award, and sometimes there are no cash prizes for that either. So this is really fantastic that Arts ATL and Fulton County have come together to create this grant to support some of the artists that are here. We need more of this.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. A question that I have is just how you guys are doing this year. I know we kind of talked a little bit about it before we hit record, but where are you at creatively, personally, however much you want to share, but I'm just curious, what this year has looked for you like, and how you feel going into 2021.
It's been a rough year. It's really been a rough year, both, it's been a rough year creatively, I would say. There was a benefit to having some downtime, during quarantine, to really just rest, to put things in perspective. But personally for me, when I have a lot of stress in my environment, that is not an opportune time for me to be creative. I certainly have developed some ideas. I'm working on producing someone else's project who was able to be more creative this year. But as far as developing my own projects, it's difficult when, you know, no one has money right now, or a lot of people don't. Most people have not had a banner financial year. So when it comes to trying to find investors for your projects, that becomes very difficult. And also, I would say that, you know, I have another project that I completed that I was hoping to be submitting to festivals, but this project in particular, I created specifically because I wanted to attend festivals in person to be able to have conversations. And I know festivals have done a great job about doing virtual Q&As, but sometimes the conversation continues even after the Q&A. You go to a networking event and you end up being able to talk to people. And so when you're making content that, again, is about developing dialogue, it makes it difficult to do these virtual festivals. So I've been kind of hanging on to some things until COVID clears up a little bit. So it's, you know, it's been a challenge for sure. I think that for those of us who have not been able to be as creative, that as soon as this is over, we're going to bounce back very quickly. I definitely have the itch to be creating right now. It's just not the best time.
Yeah, I think that at the beginning of the year was kind of exciting to think that we would have time to actually write and think about projects. So I think, around March, I was feeling like writing all the time and looking for ideas and all that. But as time progressed, and realizing that things are not actually getting better, it just kind of started to like really affect my creativity, and to the point that I feel like right now I need to be around people, and I can't, and there is no place that you can't do it. Like I'm from El Salvador, I would love to go home, but there's also a virus home. If I want to go to, recently I was about to go to New York, but then I thought, well, there's a virus also in New York, so there is nothing or nowhere that you can go where you can feel safe. And that kind of sucks when you're creative, because you feed off so much of that interaction with other people. And I feel like as my projects, my creative projects might not be, or maybe I'm just being too hard on myself. I feel like I've done some work, but it's not what I want it to be. But I've also feel like I've grown so much as a filmmaker and as a screenwriter during the course of this time. Not so much about my writing per se, like my screenplay, but by watching more movies, I've been able to watch a lot of stuff and study other people's work. And I feel like that probably is going to start coming into my own work now. And that's something that I didn't have the time to do before. So, I mean, honestly, I can't wait to go back to normal. I can't wait to actually be on a crew with other people and feel safe, because that's part of the filmmaking experience, like just being with your friends and make movies. So I hope that 2021 it's a better year for us as filmmakers.
Thank you. Did you guys want to, in any capacity, respond to what anyone else had said so far, or any thoughts?
I think I will say to Priscilla too, what you just said, safety is really important. And I think that that's another factor for sure in creating films, is it's going to cost more money to make your film set safe. And that's a factor. I'm sorry, I know I keep bringing up financing, but it's a major factor in indie filmmaking. I think we all realize that. But I respect filmmakers who are pausing right now on creating projects and going on set because they don't feel that they could create a safe environment. Clearly, we're seeing that there are lots of productions that are shooting and that many of them are taking safety very seriously. But if you don't feel that that's something that you're able to do, I respect the fact that you would pause.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that too, because I've seen a lot of people doing it, and personally, I don't think that I would feel comfortable, and I wouldn't want anyone on my crew to be exposed to something that I don't even know. Like, you're hoping that everyone hasn't been in contact with the virus, but you can't really tell. And I was kind of happy to see the other day that they have approved a new test that you can do at home. And
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's supposed to give you results in 15 minutes. And what you were saying is actually true, because I was like, oh, maybe that would be a way where, you can provide some sort of safety for your crew, like get these tests and get the people on crew. But the tests are like $30. So you have to like think, okay, it's going to add into your budget now. Like how much
plus having a COVID compliance safety officer that's there, plus making sure that all of the surfaces are being wiped down and that you have space to spread out. I mean, there's so many factors. I am definitely production quality is incredibly important to me, but typically I'm going to have the bare bones crew that I would possibly need anyway. But sometimes you're in a tight spot. Like sometimes your location may be small, and if you can't make it safe, then just wait,
Yeah.
To wrap up, I would just want to ask if you guys want to give a shout out to, I know Brantley already did, but is there anyone you want to give a shout out to as far as your films go? I don't know, any crew or any actors, et cetera, that you feel like you just want to be like, yeah, this film wouldn't have been possible without their help?
Yeah, I definitely have a few. I mean, Christina Adler obviously was incredible on Birthday Cake, and I could not have made that film without her, both, her help producing the film as well as her performance. I also would definitely want to give a shout out to my DP, Christian Zuniga, who is brilliant. He shot both films, and for Spoon in particular, he was just a real rock star and was very patient with me, and very collaborative, and took a shot on doing something kind of crazy. Alex Sorovlov is also an amazing editor that I've worked with. And Lindsay Moser and Babacar, who were in Spoon. And Lindsay and I have worked on several projects together. She was a dream to work with.
Yeah, I definitely would like to give a shout out to my main actress, Diani Rodriguez. She is the one that, she killed it on set. It's basically her on the screen all the time. It's just one character, but also a shout out to my DP, Travis, and my gaffer, man, I'm like super nervous right now. I'm like forgetting, Brian Tan, and also my sound guy, Diego Saldaña, who was amazing. And Susan Williams, also like the other actress. She was the voice of the immigration agent. And also Sonic Stillness is an Atlanta musician. He plays handpan, and it was so awesome to be able to get him to do the soundtrack of the short. And I loved how it turned out. So that's just a testament of how much talent is here in Atlanta. It's like you can find, your actors, your DPs, your composers, and everyone just brings a lot to the table. So shout out to all the crew.
Any final thoughts or anything you want to say towards like as an ending credit for yourself?
I just want to say thank you again. This is really incredible for, Fulton County and Arts ATL to do this, for filmmakers, especially in such a tough year.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a great incentive to have this kind of programs to help filmmakers, especially right now during COVID, which, you know, our industry has been affected by this virus so much. So it's great to see that there's support from organizations like Arts ATL, and also from Fulton County. And yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Cool. I'm gonna kind of do like a closing, right? But you don't have to jump off right away. You don't have to like sign off, you know, if you want to stay on for like a minute or two. But I'll just do a quick like ending to it. Thank you guys very much for sharing your work and sharing all these thoughts. I know this has been a difficult year for a lot of people, and I'm glad that Arts ATL and Fulton County could provide a little bit of light and hope in this year. And thank you guys again for having your work be the bit of light and hope for our years as well. So thank you.